What is going on, everyone? My email marketing friends. Hope you're all doing well. Super excited about this video that we're going to be going through and the content that we're going to be walking through. And it is about, in short, how we are able to improve the conversion of this abandoned cart email by 73% and ultimately drive almost double the amount of revenue per email. Keep in mind, this was also in the fifth and final sequence of the abandoned cart flow. And the reason why I mention that is because, at least to start, is so many brands will just have one email or two emails nudging someone to come back when you are losing out on thousands, literally thousands of dollars by not having a deeper flow sequence. So I'm going to get into that. And I'm also excited to talk about this video because it is such a simple change and a simple test we can run. Every e-commerce brand on the face of the earth could set this up after watching this video while they're watching TV, literally in 5 seconds. So super excited to walk through it. And with that being said, we're going to start with the first slide, which is why we test. All right, so I made my head a little bit smaller so we can see all of the copy here. But first, I just want to go through why we test. So the biggest reason, like many brands, they unfortunately rely on assumptions about what truly motivates their customers instead of actually seeing what is driving urgency. And that's going to be a point that I'm going to harp on a lot today because we want to have action-oriented copy that drives urgency and drives the conversion. We don't want to send wasted content that thousands, if not tens of thousands of other brands send every single day that has become so fatigued that it doesn't actually want or make the person act or make the person want to act. So it's very important to test to see what kind of copy resonates with your customer base. And the big point of this, or big part of this, is that even minor adjustments, like we're going to walk through in this video, can yield much better outcomes than resource intensive or expensive tests like a new offer, a new discount, or in some cases, a full website redesign to see if it converts better on the page. Any of that, you don't need to do that. If you are looking for a quick test like this to see a very, very positive ROI. Yes, I do love to have big levers. That'll be my next video, I think, which will be about testing offers and the importance of that. But we want to test things like this that show a real quick ROI and do not require any other resources that are put into it, or they don't require you to actually degrade into your margin. So that's why it's so important. And like I say here, small copy changes can outperform bigger, more expensive changes like discounts, new offers, redesigns, etc. So that's why we want to test, and that's the first thing that I wanted to go over. Next, like I touched on in the previous slide, we're going to be talking about why action-oriented copy wins and why, even if you didn't test, even if you wanted to set up your e-commerce flows once and be done, you always want to err on the side of action-oriented because people need to be told what to do. They need to be told how to act. They need to be told when something is ready to buy and when they should buy it. We don't want to be vague. We don't want to say still thinking about it because this gives permission to keep delaying or got your eye on it. Sure, you can use it in some instances, but on the majority of your emails, especially flows where it is so high touch and the person is much warmer to a sale than pretty much anywhere else in the entire funnel, we want to be direct and deadline driven, which removes any option to defer. So we don't want someone to think, hey, I can just buy this tomorrow. I can buy it next week. I don't know if I need it. No, we do not want to do that. We want someone to think right on the spot, right when they see our email, before they actually even get into the email, right when they see our subject line and our brand, that they need that product right now because it's going to change their life. Maybe not so dramatic as change their life, but they need that product absolutely now. They want it next day, and we need to show that in our copy. I guess last main point is the brain responds to closing windows. not open-ended reminders. We want to be direct. We don't want anything open. We don't want to leave the customer with any kind of question. We want them to know our product to be delivered to their house the next day. So that's why it's so important to have action-oriented copy. The next thing I want to touch on as well before revealing the big subject line change and test is why flow length matters. It matters a lot, guys. All right. So when I audit brands, most of the abandoned cart and checkout emails, which keep in mind is the highest touch point email and flow you could have of a person and the warmest they will ever be to actually buying, they will usually only have one, two, or maybe three. Usually it's one and two. So there are tons of brands out there, including you potentially, if you're watching this, that do not have three, four, and five. So this is thousands and thousands of dollars that is being left on the table just by not having enough volume. So this is why flow length matters so much, because every person is different and everyone needs a different touch point to actually buy. So if someone buys on the first email, fantastic. That is great. If someone buys on the second email, fantastic. That's great. However, there are plenty of people who need a value proposition. They need to overcome more objections. They need a final action to actually buy. And by not having this, that is a huge opportunity lost just by simply not having these emails in place. So that is why it's so important. That's why we want to have them, because even if someone buys two at email two, they will be filtered out right after they buy with the proper flow filter. So it's not like you're setting them more content from 3, 4, and 5 when they already bought. They will automatically get filtered out with the right flow filters. Keep in mind, which you want to have in all your flows to make sure you're not sending too many emails. But that is why it's important to have a lengthy flow across all your abandonments to make sure we're hitting on enough touch points to get someone to convert. So what was the winning subject line that yielded roughly double the amount of revenue in email number 5? It was simply final hours of availability, first name. So final hours of availability, John. So this is an action-oriented, deadline-driven. It has a precise number of hours that this product is going to be left in stock and a precise amount of time they have to actually buy it. If I were to go one further, I would maybe put something and maybe adjust it that says at midnight or tomorrow night or Wednesday, July 30th at midnight. That's a bit more action-oriented and deadline-driven, but for this type of email, this worked just perfectly, as we could see. And some context. So this brand sells a product rooted in seasonality and small batch sourcing, so guaranteed stock just does not exist. When a cycle ends, inventory is gone until the next one. The email is built around the truth, not any act fast copy on a template that's just slapped on it. Customers feel the difference between manufactured scarcity and the real thing, and then they act on it. So it's not like we were just throwing out, this is going to be gone when we have plenty of stock. This was rooted in the actual nature of the brand of, okay, this product is rooted in seasonality. It's not going to be here in a few months. Let's play into it. Let's play into the fact that if someone comes back to their cart in 2 or 3 days from now, it might not be there. So that's why this is such an important angle to take. Only, 4 lines of copy, but it's the entire framing around it where it makes someone feel like they need to act upon it immediately, or they may miss out on their favorite product being in their cart just a few days later. So that's how simple our test was. It was changing a variation of still thinking about it that's very open-ended to something that's action-oriented and deadline-driven. And like I said in the beginning of the video, drove double the amount or almost double the amount of revenue. And just to close out, I want to go over some more action-oriented subject lines to use because there are plenty, and these are just a handful of them. Because I do know, the final hours of availability could have been more brand specific. Maybe you can't use something like that depending on what you sell. So I wanted to show some more examples that you can implement for your brand, for tests that work like a charm. So the first one that I want to bring up is your order is ready to ship. I love this one, can work for pretty much every brand. And the reason why it works so well is because it's telling a customer what they need to do in the state of their product. It's not something, like I said earlier, where are you still thinking about it, still browse. It's not a question, it's an action. And customers feel like they need to fulfill on this action. I talk a lot about it, at least on IG, about pop-up forms and micro commits, where someone actually has to commit to something, where the pop-up form asks a question like, what are you shopping for today? And then it leads to their email address. The reason why that works so well is the same reason why this works so well. It's because people feel the need to finish what they start. So just like their email, where they click a button, they click a specified answer, they feel the need to enter their email address in. Same goes for here, where a customer has started an action, they've started looking at a product, they've grown at least a fond appreciation or want for the product. Now they feel like they have to actually order it. So that's why it works so well. The next one to discuss is only X left in stock. Putting a number works extremely well, not only for flows, but also for campaigns. If you have a limited time drop with you could have 500 bottles or 500 orders, whatever it may be, 500 hats. When you're down to 45, there's only 45 left in stock. That is going to make someone act on it because there's only a fixed number. It's scarcity bias. People they don't want to live in scarcity. They don't want to have the thought of something running out in their head. So that's why it works so well. We want to put a precise number. It works even better if you don't just say like under 100, but if you say under 83, because it sounds like a real number the team just pulled from the warehouse. Even better if you want to write a text-based email. Hey, this is Anthony from the warehouse. There's only X amount of your product left in stock. We'd love for you to have it, try it out, and let us know what you think. Boom. So that works super well. Similar as well to what we had, your product is almost gone. If you have some seasonality to it, I'd recommend that. Serial order before we run out. More action-oriented copy, scarcity bias always plays well. And then last one to go over quickly is your offer expires tonight at midnight. So this is what I talked about earlier. If we wanted to make final hours of availability a bit more action-oriented and deadline-oriented, we would add a specific deadline. Your offer expires tonight at midnight. So if you have an offer, you've got $10 off, you got 10% off, you got a free gift off. Well, it's going to expire tonight at midnight. So that gets someone to actually act. They don't want to lose out. Similar to the same psychology that makes all this work out. We want the customer to think that it is going away. That's really what gets a customer to act. So, the idea of them losing it makes them act. So everything in short is about the frame. So you could go back and forth on even copy. As much as copy is important, you can go back and forth on copy, infographics, how this looks, how this design looks. Everything is about how you frame it. And that goes for copy, that goes for design, that goes for the layout. If we're able to frame the email in someone's head that gets someone to act, then that is going to perform better than anything else you can do. So that's all I got for you guys for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Looking forward to filming more of these. If you want to work with my done for you email marketing agency, there'll be a link to my website, case studies, designs, all that in down below, Mail Mosaic. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up wherever, whether it be about e-commerce, email in particular. Always love talking about this stuff. I nerd out. But yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And yeah, see you later. Till next time.